Hey folks, this is a video on section 5.1 talking about angles and their measure. This is a pretty foundational section, so I would strongly recommend that you really get a good grasp of your understanding on this section. I am going to break it into several different videos so that they are small and shorter videos. All right, so we're going to take a look at the definition of an angle in the first place. An angle is formed by a rotating of a ray about its end point. The initial side of the angle is the starting position of the ray. So in our picture over here, you see that this is my initial side, and we're going to rotate in this direction. So we're rotating our initial side. The terminal side is where the rotation ends. The vertex of the angle is the common endpoint, and it's often named by a capital letter. And you can see in our example here, we used an A. All right, so then when you have an angle that is called in standard position, there's two requirements for an angle in standard position. First of all, the vertex has to be at the origin of the X and Y axis. And secondly, the initial side has to be on the positive X axis. And you can see a picture there on the left. The measure of an angle is going to quantify two different things. First of all, it's going to quantify the direction of rotation. So direction is going to matter, which we'll talk about that next. And then the second is going to quantify the amount of rotation from the initial side to the terminal side. If my rotation is counterclockwise, so if we're going in this direction, then my angle is going to be a positive angle. And if my rotation is clockwise, this is going to be a negative measure of an angle. Degrees is one way to measure angles, and this is the method of measuring that we are more accustomed to. So you probably won't have too many issues getting comfortable with degrees. We will have another method of measuring that is a little bit more challenging that we'll talk about in one of my other videos. One full rotation of a ray about its endpoint is going to be 360 degrees. Therefore, a single degree is 1/360th of a full rotation. Now, you might have to sketch angles in standard position. So let's take a look. First of all, let's sketch an angle that is at 120 degrees. So notice that our initial side is starting on the positive x-axis. We are rotating in a counterclockwise direction, and we will stop. Remember that this is 90 degrees. Going that far is 90 degrees. So we're going to go past 90 to get to that 120 degrees. The second one is to sketch an angle that has a measure of -70 degrees. So once again, you see that we've started on the positive x-axis, and we are rotating in the negative direction, in the clockwise direction, a distance of, or an angle of 70 degrees. All right, some high school geometry concepts that you will probably remember. A right angle measures 90 degrees. A straight angle measures 180 degrees. An acute angle is a small angle. It's going to measure between 0 and 90 degrees. And an obtuse angle is going to measure between 90 and 180 degrees. Again, another high school geometry concept that you will have remembered: complementary angles and supplementary angles. Complementary angles are when the two angles add together, this is sum, to equal 90 degrees, whereas supplementary is when my two angles are going to add together to be 180 degrees. So the complement of a 30-degree angle is going to be 60 degrees because those two add together to equal 90 degrees. And the supplement of a 130-degree angle is going to be 50 degrees, again, because they add together to be 180 degrees. All right, this wraps up this particular video, and come back for the next one.